Welcome to the Interview Podcast, the voice of InterCT. InterCT's aim is to help young athletes become excellent individuals through the vehicle of soccer. Love the game, love to learn, and love to compete at InterCT.
Hi, everybody. Back with another Interview Podcast, and Happy New Year. We're recording in 2024. With me, I have Leon Othen and Tom Robinson.
How we doing, everybody? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, boys.
Yep. No, good one. Back at it.
Back at it. And this week we're starting training, starting the winter training at Sono Fieldhouse and Tomlinson on Saturday. And then we start up with the Winter League on Sunday, although this Sunday may be a little different, maybe because of the weather, the snow.
In sports as well. All Saints, all the venues.
Teams,
everywhere.
Yeah, it looks
Boys
like
and Girls Club.
a little too much
SPU.
on Sunday. But we'll see.
A lot going on.
Monitor the weather and see what happens, what we can do. But this podcast is a special one, I guess, because one, it's the first one in 2024.
Two, we're all together. You always make fun of me being on Zoom.
Yeah, you're
I'm
always
here
on
in person.
Zoom. Well,
Audio should be the best we've ever had.
hopefully. We got Stephen Bell coming in as well. But we figured we would take this podcast, the time here, to do a year in review of 2023. We had a lot happen in 2023 regarding new coaches leaving, partnerships with new clubs, and the turf in 2023, among other things. But we can start off, of course, in January, the first month of the year. We started the work for the turf, clearing some grass, clearing some shrubs, clearing some trees, and making sure that we had the space for the turf. And then another big thing in January was the USL Academy League training. It's a new league for us and new league for the USL in general. But we were very happy to send our boys and girls, for that matter, to go play in the USL Academy League, which we'll talk about later, as later in the year we did fairly well in Tampa. But I can pass February off to Leon.
Oh, we had the player welfare program, and it's something that Marty Walker has been very instrumental in, having a background in sports psychology. And out of most things, this was the thing that we're really pleased to be able to offer. You know, a lot of children or our soccer players have needed some extra help, anxiety, worried a bit about performance. And like it or not, I think those COVID years did have a bit of an effect on some of the players. And you talk to teachers and they say the same. So it was great to be able to offer this player welfare program where we had a couple of intern sports psychology students come along with Marty Walker and be able to offer some stuff. A little beep there as Steven's coming in. One of those coaches was Coach Caitlin, who's also been doing some work with us as well. So that was nice to do and have a lot of players participate in that program.
Hey, Stephen, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How about yourselves? Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year, Steve.
Even better seeing you now, mate.
Yeah. My first appearance on the
First appearance on the pod.
Serious haircut for 2024, and not that people could see. And
Gone for the Colin Sprague look.
Yeah, well, I just got back actually from taking Angelo to his New Year's haircut. So I think he didn't go quite as short, but otherwise I'd have got in trouble with his mum. But
So we were just talking about February of last year, Steve, in the player welfare program. I think we can pass this March off to you, because you added in it. You still have the doc up, the Google Drive. You added in a couple things. Well, I'll pass this one off to Tom here. Will you get it up? But we had a lot in March.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
For us, it's I think it's a lot of people see that as still part of the winter. For us, March is pretty much the start of the spring season. If you don't look at it that way, your spring season is basically 8 weeks. So we like to do a lot of tournaments in March. One of the big things that we did with more of the Norwalk base was we had the USL Academy, and we went down to Tampa. It was my first experience there. Unbelievable few days down there, to seeing the level, the facilities. Obviously, nice to get a little bit of sunshine on your back.
Yeah, of course.
In late March. It was really special for me also that there was a few kids in that program that were there playing in the U13 bracket that I'd coached from like 8-9 years old. So to see them go through their development, there was also Coach Aaron was down there and his team won it. And same again, we had 5 or 6 boys in there and 1 or 2 players standing out. Really says a lot about our program when one of those U15 boys who's played for Inter his whole entire life is a captain of the AC Connecticut USL Academy team. So that says a lot about that. And then, off the back of that, we had the Manhattan tournament for those teams that didn't go to the USL Academy Cup. So, it was a good month for getting the USL stuff up and running. And then we'll swing it back to Steve, because obviously in that same time I think I stepped off the plane and went straight to Milford, straight from the sunshine to a just above 30-degree day in Milford, where we did, I don't know, Steve,
it was cold.
Maybe 16 hours each day on the field, right? Doing that.
It was. So yeah, we did 4 age groups a day. So within each age group we did 22-minute games. So yeah, we had about a 2.5 hour time slot per age group. So I think, did we do it was a boys Saturday, girls Sunday, or the other way around? But I remember it was the day we had the girls. That was the coldest, and it was cold all weekend. But I think we had to pivot a little bit, because we moved it to Orange Ave, which actually turned out to go pretty well. And this was the year before. We only did 7v7, but we added 9v9. This past March, and it went really smooth, to be honest. I think we obviously had a big turnout, didn't we? From Inter Connecticut teams, and then we were joined by teams from Ryan Kinney's CT Rush branch. We had some Cheshire teams in there.
Yeah, we had Shelton before they were under our umbrella.
Shelton before they came to us, and some PSC Dynamo teams, and that pretty much covered everything. I think it was a real good turnout. I think it's a good way to kickstart the season, right? I think you got competitive games without the pressure of, we've got to win every game to win the trophy, if that makes sense. So I think, and so that by having that environment, it keeps everyone a little bit less crazier. Would that be the right word to use? Because even obviously people, you're playing to win regardless of if it's a scrimmage or not. It's a competitive game, but it just kept everyone in that environment of, right, this is about getting ready for the spring season. I think that's it's a positive, and looking forward to doing it again this March. Yeah,
definitely. And you had the Icebreaker Challenge there too, right? 2011.
Yes. So the Icebreaker Challenge was the week before the Jamboree, or 2 weeks before, down in New York. I think, was it at Brentwood? Is Leon on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it at Brentwood?
Yep.
Yeah. So we took the 011 girls, which we'd done a few sessions at what was Sono now, or is it North Athletic? I don't even know what it's called now, but I'll still call it Sono. We've done a few sessions, and then we took a group. Obviously, they're playing 11v11 now, but back then it was 9v9, made up of Milford, Litchfield, and Norwalk players to participate in that tournament. It was good. I think we finished runners up by a point. It was a real good tournament. Again, another cold day. It was late afternoon on a Saturday, actually. So I think our last game was 6 p.m. But yeah, went down there and played 3 games, 2 30-minute halves each game. And yeah, it was a real competitive tournament. I think Ashley had a 2014 girls group there as well, which I think Leon helped out with a little bit as well. It was something a little bit different that I know we're looking into doing maybe this March also with a few other of our girls' regional teams. Now that we've kind of got that off the ground, we didn't really have any regional teams this time last year. This was, I guess, the first stepping stone for it to what we have now on the girls' side. And we have what the regional teams participating in the Zone 1 Academy League. So yeah, it was a good tournament, and yeah, busy. It was a busy second half of March, kind of kick starting the spring season with obviously that, and obviously the Jamboree that we hosted as well. So yeah, it was cold, but some good soccer. Yeah.
We had some more tournaments in March as well. We had the Litchfield Westport tournament.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah, that was Dave and Dwayne's teams.
I think they both won as well, right?
And yeah, Dwayne's team won it. Yeah. Last kick of the game. I think we've got that on our social media in the past. It was last kick of the game against a Danbury or AC Connecticut team that was disguised as Danbury.
Yeah.
And then also the Manhattan tournament.
Yeah, that was prior to the USL Academy Cup. It was almost like our warm-up. One thing I did notice there, especially at the U20 age group that we had, and we had a couple of younger ones as well, how when you get older, you're doing these kind of tournaments for the benefit of the kids. And this is what Stephen was saying about the Icebreaker Challenge. We were playing, I can't remember who it was playing, but we would try and new experiment because we had the USL Academy in our mind. So we're using this almost like a pre-season friendly.
Right.
And, I think we were like 2-0 up, 3-0 up and like cruising. And we said, all right, let's see what would happen if we were playing with 10 men or how we would defend or, or something like that. Or let's try the low press versus the high press. And those were the instructions to the kids. And like, obviously the other team came back and scored. You'd think they'd won the World Cup. And, little did they know that we were just using it to experiment. But it just shows you how different mentalities towards these tournaments. And sometimes the results aren't the be all and end all.
Yeah,
because that ultimately helped us when we went to the USL Academy in Tampa. We got to the final.
Yeah. So well, and we say that all the time. We're not coaching for this game. We're coaching for games in the future and preparing these kids for anything that they have coming.
I think that message goes even further, right? Because Leon's referring to our U18s, U19s, U20s. So, for those parents that are right at the lower end of that age scale, it's even more important. And I do have to go on file to say the Manhattan tournament is played at my least favorite location for soccer in the whole entire world. Randall's Island. Hate it. We get there. It's always cold no matter when. It's always windy. Parking's a night.
No parking.
Yeah.
$50 in tolls. Yeah.
But other than that, it's a great tournament.
We have that this year, actually. I heard that.
Yeah, I've just put vacation in for those days.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It might not run this year. The state of New York have put there's a load of asylum seekers.
Oh, don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, a friend of mine runs the race. He goes, Leon, on the turf is like lots of tents,
shelters,
and stuff like that. So something to look out for.
Wow.
Bit of a heads up.
All right. April.
Yeah, now we can move on to April. April is usually when we hold our tryouts before the summer season. And we had a decent turnout in April.
Very good.
We had a very good turnout in April.
Yeah, we have a in my opinion, a unique approach to our tryouts. We like to give kids the opportunity to come in and join some sessions opposed to just coming in and joining tryouts. So when you see that April, you think, wow, that's early for tryouts. But the main reason we do that is we allow kids to, show their best foot or being able to, adapt to a session. It's very difficult to ask for a kid to come in. And when we do tryouts, we have over 100 kids at tryouts and you're trying to watch a kid and realistically you only see them for 5 minutes. So we do this where we started it right at the beginning of the spring season. We allow parents to sign up for 1, 2, 3 sessions a week and just come in and be part of the team, get to know the coaches, get to know, the environment. Is the commute going to work? And one big thing that Leon always told me is it's an awesome way for the parents to try at the club. A lot of the people think that, what the kids are trying out for us. It can be looked at both ways. You've got to make sure that the club matches your beliefs, your philosophy, the way you want your children to be taught. And by jumping in early April and doing those sessions, that makes it so much easier for us when we get to September, because you've already had a month with us on the field. You know what you're going to expect. You know what the sessions are. And usually that gives kids a better opportunity to try out. So, it is crazy how soon the tryout process starts. If I'm 100% honest, from when I started here, you had to do them after Memorial Weekend. I think if we did them after Memorial Weekend now, every single kid in the state of Connecticut would have a team by now. So, we have had to adapt with the times. and just the amount of how big the club's got, and we are a popular club, and there are a lot of kids now that do want to try out for us off the back of that. So yeah, that's usually when our tryout process starts. We'll be doing the same again this year. We'll start brainstorming on when the dates are going to be. They are different locations at different times. Steve might have his the week before us. The girls might be wedged in the middle. The high school boys might be a little bit later. But yeah, tryouts, it's always an exciting time, but also a very, very busy time. I think sometimes it's a good thing. I didn't get to see my wife for 3 days on the trot. I think I saw Aaron every single day. Yeah. I didn't see any of my family members, but usually when you get to the tryout spot, there's a few days a little bit quieter coming up when we hit late June, early July.
Yeah, and we continue to have great turnout at tryouts, and I do agree with you. We have a very unique approach to tryouts that allows the coaches and allows the parents and allows the players to kind of find the best fit team, club, all that stuff. So
one of the best compliments I had is actually from a high school coach that's involved with our program, and he said that one of our unique things that we have is we have lots of barriers to entry. We right now we have the Winter League open to everyone. We have Winter Premier, the extra time youth academy, lots going on. And I have to point out as well that the tryouts, our existing players are always trying out. Yeah. So that's one of the unique things here.
I think the industry's changed a lot. If you think 5-10 years ago doing these tryouts, it would be your stereotypical, this is your one tryout date and anywhere from 50 to 200 kids show up, and you're doing, and like I said, I think just the way the game's evolved from the business standpoint of it and the way clubs are run, I think, like you just said, Leon, those different barriers of entry, whether it be through this clinic or that, or joining a team practice, like Tom said, which I think is the best way to do it, is when you get players to come into your team practice with the current teams, because they get a better feel for it, rather than, like I said, just the open tryout is still important because you need to give that opportunity. But I think this day and age, you like to hope that you're keeping the majority of the players that you've already got and supplementing from there for your growth to make things better, which getting them
in the office now, and you can. And I know you have there in Milford, we got our list of potential teams for next year and who's going to be on them next year already. We got, we might need, this team is going up to 9v9. So, 2 extra players, or we need a left back and a striker. And we're looking out already for these players. But I know we're going off on a tangent about tryouts, but no, nice insight, I think, to some of the parents.
Of course.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened in April was we finalized for the plans for the turf. That was a big thing because you deliberated for a little while. A couple different companies, right?
Well, there was one company that they dragged their feet. They gave it the emotional thing, the fact that the guy had gone to what was All Saints Central Catholic. He's it's so important to us, but in the end nothing was kind of getting done. And I was very conscious, Marty was very conscious, that we told parents that we were going to get it done this year. Meanwhile, we were fundraising, but there was a secondary company that or Phil Turf that we had put off because of the emotional attachment and the promise that it was going to be, the world's greatest thing. But fair play to Phil Turf. We gave them the specs and gave them everything they needed. And within a week, we had more done from them than, and that was the one where we were able to utilize the opportunity of having the black, the turf, the track, because initially we were going to be inside of the track. So it was almost going to be like plunked inside the gravel track.
Oh, wow.
But no, they helped us do the track version.
Yeah, I do want to jump in there as well. Leon mentioned it. We do want to thank everybody who donated as well to the turf. It was massive big shout out to Leon and Marty. They donated a lot themselves. There were a few other individual families that reached out, and massive thank you to everybody who have donated and continue to donate. We are trying to make this a special club. The turf is helping, and then there is more to come. So yeah, thank you to everyone who donated. And I also think the next point on our list is another one that's one I am very proud we offer, but also shows how much Leon goes above and beyond for the club, the youth coach mentor program. I know that's a special one for you, Leon, right?
Yeah, I should call it the mental program. But no, it's, and it says on one of the old news articles, I think it was born out of the fact that in February 2023, my old high school coach reached out. He had a job at University of Alabama, Birmingham. I think it was 30 years ago. Was it 30 years? Yeah, I can't remember. 20 years ago.
That makes you sound younger.
I know, yeah. He got the job. He was having the reunion. It was 95, 94. So what is that? Oh my God, it is 30 years.
No, 20, 25.
Yeah.
25.
And no, he was having his 30-year reunion. He got me as a young introvert, believe it or not, a 17-year-old, to go over there because the camps in those days were massive. He was the head coach at the college, but he was allowed to do camps as a fundraiser. And obviously, when you got 120, 140 kids on camp, he paid for my flight to come over, mentored me as this introvert, and kind of got me into coaching. And I was really pleased that he had asked me to do the, go. He goes, "Oh, Leon, you live in America. Can you come to your reunion?" Not knowing that, Alabama. But I went down there, really pleased to go and see him. And it kind of, we got talking about how he got me into coaching and how we're doing now. And it really started to, let me help these high school players like he helped me. So it kind of came from there, and we did a different lesson each week. And it was on-field practice and on-field learning. And no, we really got some good, enthusiastic coaches out of there that have got us out of a bind as well. As well. So it's a two-way thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You missed out the most important part, though, Leon. You said he recruited you as a young 17-year-old, but you forgot to mention with hair.
I didn't have hair then either.
No, did no, seriously, Leon, I worked with a couple of your coaches from your mental program when I covered the Friday nights for Christmas, and they were great. They did a really good job. I think I met 3 or 4 of them, and they were awesome. So good work.
I'll second that, because we've had a few in the summer, right? We had really a few jump in during the summer, and they were great. Just those little things of just thinking a step ahead, where you're trying to get the kids together. They're already moving the goals. They're getting teams done. They're getting the pennies ready. So no, it is great. And I do think most of us that are coaches at the club have somebody that we think back to, as Leon was referring to, as the high school coach who helped him. I have many people that I know helped me when I was that 16, 17-year-old, just left school and didn't know which route to go. And I've been lucky to have a few. I have people who helped me get to the USA, people who helped me, since I've been in America, and so on. So I do think us being able to give back and do that for most of the kids that play for us as well, I think it is pretty special.
Of course. Now we can move on to May. In May, we had a couple of big things happen. The partnership with Shelton being one of the stepping stones to, I guess,
Stephen Bell returning home, right? That's what it was.
But put the red carpet down. Yeah. Capewell Park, right there. Yes.
It's a step in the right direction in growing Inter as a club, and I guess you can say as a family now. I mean, we have all these different branches, but Shelton is a big one because it's not too far away, and we have this partnership with Milford as well. So we kind of made it into the Union branch, we call it.
Yeah, definitely a positive step, I think, for the program. I think, again, there's not many around, but Shelton were one of the programs where they were successful, up until a few years ago, competing at kind of everything, premier travel, whatnot. But I think for now, it's difficult for town programs to sustain that. So having those partnerships like they do with Inter now, I think is great for them to allow their stronger players to go and play at a higher level, i.e., which would be right now the Union branch, and then on top of that, our regional teams, and on top of that, the with all the older team from there, and then. But on top of that, they get to stay and play in their town as well, which benefits the high school program. Which on the girls' side, obviously we've got Ashley in there now, which is great in Shelton. So similar to Milford, which we started a couple of years ago, I think and you can see it now from players age 13 and down. Obviously, we benefit getting those talented players playing for us, but those towns are benefiting by those players staying in the town as well, playing for their travel program or being still involved in the community, and that progression through to their high school. So a lot of positives all around, a lot of stuff that we need to change and improve on as we learn and grow how to navigate this as a organization ourselves. But on the whole, it's been a really positive partnership so far.
Great. Another thing that happened in May, we had a record number of teams at Needham. We go to this tournament every year, but now we have all of our teams now are basically full for the most part. And we had how many teams?
Put me on the spot.
40 plus?
It might have been a little bit less. It might have been closer to 30. It should be 40 this year.
Wow.
Because we've got more. Because what happened last year is we had the Milford teams that they were called then were there. We obviously have more teams now in the Union branch. We've got more girls teams going. We've got more high school teams going. And it was a busier year on the boys side because we had a lot more fuller age groups. So we was definitely near the 30 number. And then this year we could be closer to 40 by the time we get there again. It is a fun tournament. It's the reason we do it is, it's great to have everybody together. I was able to go and watch a high school game, watch one of Anthony's games, and then go and help Joel with one of the Union games as well. So, it is great having those extra set of hands. I've been at a tournament on my own with 2 or 3 teams, and if the schedule goes off a little bit, then you could be in a troublesome spot where you might have to miss a game or forfeit a game. And now we can have so many coaches up there, and we can have a few team dinners, and seeing the families spend time together off the field is really unique. A lot of the boys stay in the Hilton Dedham, and we have over 100 families staying in that hotel together. So it is a fun experience. Not so fun when you lose a few games. You got to dodge that hotel reception and get straight to the hotel, get to your bedroom. But no, overall, it's usually a fun way. And now that's how we spend all of our Memorial Days with our Inter-CT family and doing tournaments. So
that's the only way I want to spend it, Tom.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say I had a great time. I got to I actually had no teams up there, so I was just covering games, and I was managed to cover one game at Gillette Stadium.
Yes,
down on the field.
Boy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad I didn't have to do any cartwheels this year. I think 2 years ago, I was with the 2010 girls, and they went on the I can't remember the
bus, the duck.
No, it was I don't know. I can't.
It was a very sensible tour of Boston.
Mobsters and Lobsters tour. It was, but yes, and got involved with the parents in there, and my chiropractor bill after that.
New shoulder, new hips.
But my cartwheel was very good, I have to say.
It was. I still have it on video. If anyone needs to, needs to see it, I have it saved.
Nobody needs to see that.
Great form.
Get it out there.
Another thing that happened in May, which is an unfortunate one, we had to say goodbye to Jack Tubbs. Jack had been coaching with Inter for several years.
Well, yeah, even Everton America. Yeah,
wow.
Tubbs had been here a long time.
But he had some family things to attend to back in the UK. So he's back over there now, and he's doing well. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. He's running a string of cafes for his family. But of course, we wish we still had Jack Tubbs here, but people come, people go, and we move on.
Yeah, no, he was a great guy. I worked with him for a long time. Good guy on the field, great guy off the field, fun. Definitely brought a different spark to the Christmas parties.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was that was kind of his element. But no, good coach, like I said, I worked with him from Everton America days. So that must have been, I'm going to say, at least 7 or 8 years he probably was here. And then, yeah, so sad to see him leave. Good to see he's being successful doing what he's doing back in the UK. And if anyone ever wants a pastry or a biscuit when they're in the south of England, then, hit up Jack and he'll be there.
Now we can move on to June. June was a fun one. We had the banquet, the 2023 banquet over in Fairfield by the beach, and it turned out to be pretty good. And I know that one of these guys here is going to talk about how I shaved my face for that.
That was actually what I was just thinking.
Yeah, I knew that. And you'll never see me like
I
that
thought he
again.
was one of the players.
Doesn't start till 6. Who's this guy? No, the banquet was something that me and Marty really wanted to bring back because when did we run our first one? 3 years ago?
Oh, it was in Wilton, wasn't it? We took 2019.
2019, yeah. So we ran one, and then obviously COVID threw a few spanners in the works for the next few years, so we couldn't do it. And just with our relationship with the town of Fairfield, we were able to get that lovely location down on the beach. And did 2 nights. The first night sold out. Second night was a little bit lighter, which probably was better. There was a little bit more space to move around. It was easier to get to and from the dance floor. Once Leon left it on Monday, he ripped that thing to pieces and threw in all his moves. But yeah, I think it was just a nice way to bring everyone.
Isn't there a video of that as well? Leon dancing.
I saw a video of that. I think
that might be burnt in enough people's memories that we don't need videos of that one.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. That was with my 2015 girls dancing to Taylor Swift. Yeah. But no, I was especially happy because we broke ground.
Yes,
which is a nice segue.
Yes,
I think. But,
great segue. Yeah, breaking ground in June it was the first step or one of many steps to getting it ready in August.
Yeah, I got to say that was one of my favorite things in the summer was because we was using West Rocks.
Yeah,
I would finish camp and I would drive over every day and just look at it because Leon's been here longer than me, but the amount of meetings that we have had about how can we improve this? How can we do this? Will we ever get turf? And to actually be there and seeing like diggers taking up this and putting down turf. And at that stage, my little boy was loving diggers every day. He wanted to go and see the diggers. So it was it was great. I think you could see it. I remember that video that you posted, Leon, on social media where you was just really excited that it was finally in.
Yeah,
I think it just showed how much it meant to all of us, especially Leon and Marty. But yeah, just to show that we care about this club, we're going the right direction. And a lot of us thought that would be our ultimate goal to get the turf, but it's kind of reignited everybody and was like, no, that's just starting point. We want to keep going now from here and make it even better.
Yeah, 2011. I joined,
and
they were talking about it then. It's
wow. January 7th is my 9th, the anniversary of my 9th year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's after a gold watch for his 10th year. But you said about you did the end of year camp because we were wondering what we were going to do.
Yeah, we were going to do it. Yeah, no, that was good. That was one, again, another way of us giving back. Those families that signed before, I think we set it as June 1st or something like that. Yeah, they got the camp free as part of their tuition. It was a good camp. Each year we try and have a different theme, but it's a nice way. We had some new coaches there. We had a lot of the new players. They get to come in and meet their coaches, fellow teammates, and it's a nice way to do it. We usually do it in the evening because typically the snow days. Last year we was all the schools were finished before it, but we still kept it in the evening. We brought everyone down. We was actually able to bring Coach Andy in from SPU to do a little bit with them as well, just to show that partnership and do some of the good camps and programs they have running at SPU. But yeah, it that feels so long ago to me. That feels long ago than like some of the stuff we spoke about in March.
Yeah,
I don't know if the summer's just because it's so full on and we're busy, but yeah, no, I think the camp's a great way to start the summer, and it kind of just eases the coaches into, they're getting back to every day on the field and getting used to the heat because that's a big change. And the commute, I usually leave 20 minutes before I need to be at the field for an evening session. Unfortunately, that's not the same luxury when you've got to be at in Norwalk for 8 o'clock. You've got to usually leave a little bit sooner in the morning.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah, the old rush hour. Is it the Merit or the 95?
Both of them, man.
Yeah.
But West Rocks was great to use, and actually that's something that we'd done previously in the year that we maybe forgot. There is the relationship with Parks and Recs there, whereas previously it was always a hard no
Yeah.
Now they were
Yeah,
open
they're
to,
open
and
to
it was
it.
a godsend, really, especially with the turf going in.
Yeah,
and
because we'd
like a
actually
space-
used it earlier, right? We'd used it
Yes.
in January and February as well. Yeah, credit to Marty Walker. He does a lot in the background, and that was another one of his being persistent and a likable chap.
Now we can move on to Malawi. It was
Ooh,
a
yes.
it was a very highly anticipated trip to Malawi. I know Leon and Marty were preparing a while for it.
Yeah, I think it's something back as far as 2020.
Right.
We'd look there, and again, Marty in the background had met with some people from Ascent Soccer, which is based in Malawi. It's actually an American company, but the premise there is they get these, do soccer coaching out in Malawi, get, I think it's the third poorest country in the world.
Wow.
And really getting these kids out of poverty and really working with them through soccer so that they can, through school and soccer, so that they have like a US education, so they can come to one of the boarding schools here, mostly in New England because of the travel as opposed to the West Coast. But they got 3 or 4 kids here, and they've actually got one of the boys at Hartford Trinity College that has gone back and is almost treated like a god now because and just giving back.
Right.
I probably don't do it as justice. I went really more as a chaperone because the guys at Ascent Soccer did everything. But this was a great opportunity for the players that had participated in the youth coach program to go not only play with the boys their own age at the Ascent Soccer, but also go into the local communities and put what they'd learned in practice with our pre-team academies and what into some of you're talking kids with no shoes, no grass, dust, rocks on there, playing with one ball, and we brought like 8 cones or whatnot, but it's just as if they found working with our pre-team academies hard, especially in English is not everyone's first language in Malawi, so it was eye-opening. It was something not for everyone. The bumpy rides were there. The food, chicken and rice is a luxury. You can't get your McDonald's and all that. So the beds were hard. So yeah, selling it well here. But no, life-changing experience. I know, the boys that went had a wonderful experience, especially playing in the national stadium. To play in the national stadium there, and that was tremendous.
Now we can move on to the new badge design to include Litchfield and Shelton. I know I still have a bunch of the old badges.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Yeah, you have the new one is the Trinity knot, right?
Yeah. It was really with Stephen here and the Union branch, as it were, which was a link between Shelton and Milford. And so, we created like a where we got our halo. And for those that don't know, there's little subtleties on our badges now. The halo was the traditional one. And if you look in the About Us part of the website, it is like a bit about our badge. And it goes right back to the foil cup as well with the squares, and it explains everything. But up the top there above Inter, there's a little halo, which really is a nod to our home at All Saints. But obviously that's irrelevant now to as we grow with Shelton and Milford. So there's a link sign. And then with Litchfield, the premise there is the hills, Litchfield Hills. So there's a couple of hills on that. And then how do we put it all together? And the answer, we had like a Trinity knot. So basically halo for Norwalk, a link for Shelton and Milford, Hills for Litchfield, and obviously the regional teams, or something that encompasses everyone, is the Trinity Knot, which like ties us all together. Almost, if you've seen Ozarks, it's almost like those little signs on there. But yeah, little subtleties that quite honestly has made more trouble than it's worth, because all of a sudden you give a coach.
The story's good though, Leon. Like how you explained it then, the story behind it is good though.
I also like about the way the links, if you wanted to put it on a map, the way the Trinity Knot is put together, it actually looks like the bottom left-hand side of the knot is Norwalk, the right-hand side is Union, and then obviously the top of the knot is Litchfield. If you put that onto a map of Connecticut, it wouldn't be a million miles out from where we are all based.
That was by design, right, Leon?
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely.
What are you trying to say?
I would just go with that part and clip art. Yeah, that looks good.
Now we move on to July. July is when we have most of our international trips, although Malawi was in June. But the biggest one and the longest running one, right, is the Foil Cup over in Ireland. And I know that Marty, he took what? He usually takes 2 teams. Last year they did fairly well, I believe.
Yeah, best ever done.
Best we've ever done. And ironically, it's the one year that I didn't go. But I know Pedro and Harry did really well and took I think it's Pedro's second trip. Foil Cup means a lot to Marty.
Yeah,
it's his way to show his hometown. There's a historical part to it as well, especially with the Troubles. A lot of our families have links to Ireland as well, so a lot of parents enjoy that. And the soccer is part of that learning, that love to compete part of our stage, where you're playing against these teams from Ireland that don't want the Americans to go and show them up, as it were. And you couple that with being tired from going out, and you're seeing a lot of the sites that come in Donegal. You get to go into Dublin. You get to see, I think other years we've done Belfast, the Titanic, Giant's Causeway, and everything in between, as it were, as well as being right in the heart of Derry. I know I learned a lot. I learned a lot about media and how things are portrayed in different parts of the, different sides of a conflict, how things are done. And for me, it's very educational. And I go back to the badge, our blue and white squares that are there is a nod to the peace mural in Derry, which Marty's brother-in-law is part of the mural artists. And it's a nod really to that. So, and again, that's showed on our page, but it shows equality and for all, and how progression throughout the stages from bottom to top.
And what a great experience as well. And we're running another one this summer as well.
Big one this year, and I think we're taking girls again for the first time since where we actually joined up with CT Sporting CT 3-4 years ago. So this one will be our own intergirls going this year.
Love it. Awesome. July, we also had the residential camp, and it was a great camp. It was warm, very, very warm.
I wasn't there, but I heard it was hot.
But that was the first time I met Coach Gene and Coach Imade on there as well. Gene had driven from Montana to wonderful Massachusetts to go and work the residential camp. And I also met Imade there for the first time. And Imade and I had played against each other in high school and youth as well, but first time meeting as coaches. But the residential camp was great. It was it sold out? It was almost sold out, right?
It was over. Yeah.
Sold out. Over.
Yeah.
But the facility was amazing. The food was great. Training 3 times a day was not a problem at all. And we just really enjoyed being there with all of our players and all of our staff. And it was a great turnout. It was a great residential camp.
Yeah, I think if you're interested spots are filling up fast, and like all of our things, me and Aaron are going through this right now with the Winter League. You know, in our promotional emails, we say spots will sell out, and I think people think we're making that up, and we're now dealing with emails saying, "Oh, I didn't think you'd sell out. Can I get on the team?" I'd expect the same thing with this. You know, it was successful last year. Now we want to get more of our other locations in there. You know, we're going to get Union players in there. Coach Leon's going to do a phenomenal goalkeeping there, so there'll be goalies there. So, you know, I do fully expect that to sell out. So definitely, you know, if you are interested, reach out to Coach Ashley. There is information already on our website, and, you know, spots are going pretty fast for that one. And then, yeah, just to second what Aaron said, you know, two great hires in Amadi and Gene. I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know them. Probably a little bit closer to Gene than I am to Amadi. Gene lived at my house for a good 10 days when he was, like Aaron said, in that transition of moving from one side of the US to the other side, and he was sleeping in a hotel for a few weeks. And once I got wind of that, I was like, listen, if you can come and stand it in my crazy household with my 2-year-old and my dog that every coach at the club doesn't like after house sitting for me, you know, you'll do well with us. So, you know, yeah, two great hires, two great people, and you know, positive things to the residential.
I second that. I said Gene's been great to work with as another director. Amade,
you found it, right? You were the one who did the session with him.
Yeah, I'll take the credit for Amade. He came down to Milford to do a session with Sawyer's team, 2012 boys. It's not a bad group to do a session with. 5 minutes in, I think I text Leon and Martin and I said, hire him. He's good. Yeah. So yeah, he's a good lad. But yeah, two great hires there. Yeah.
Good. You're still waiting for your commission on that and your signing bonus.
Keep waiting.
That was out of the kindness of my heart. It got me. I didn't have to coach, so basically, it got me a session off. So
there you go.
It was very nice you let us take him in Norwalk. Thank you.
Yeah, I wondered why you kept asking me for it. Have we got any more new coaches?
Yeah. I wasn't even watching. I just took a gamble. I was in my car, just texting saying, "Yeah, it's great."
In July, we also qualified for nationals.
Oh, geez, yes, that was longer. You know, our season with the U20s, as you saw in January, was the start of that, and it had quite a lot of players. And we said in January, you know, the group here will evolve and players will come in, players will go, people won't be committed to it. You know, you're traveling to Boston. I can't remember where else we were going to Poughkeepsie. We were going to Albany for games. Yeah. It was a tough league this year. And quite honestly, we weren't expecting to do very well. It's a young group. If you can imagine Belgium, after their World Cup, Lukaku, De Bruyne, you know, all gone, and now the golden generation, which we'd had and done so well at, and qualified the last 2 years, we weren't expecting much. Hartford Athletic, who had previously we'd run almost their youth team for them, decided to go in their own direction this year. We still got the pathway for any talented players that can make it to the USL Championship, but they went and created their own youth team as well. So we didn't have their best players, which we'd had in the past. We had them. Boston Bolts were in there as well, very established team. Western Mass Pioneers. If young team, we might not do so well, but we kept plugging away. I remember a couple of last minute goals that we'd had it in there, and thrilling games against Hartford. I remember, I think we were winning. It was a ridiculous score. I think we were set 6-2 or 6-3 up against Hartford in the big game. 5 minutes to go. I was still nervous because, you know, we rightfully scored 6 goals, but we hit them on a counter punch every time. It seemed like every time we shot, it went in. But it was in July that we'd actually qualified. And for me, I know that's a trip to Tampa in December. We gotta do it, boys.
We'll touch on December in a little bit. But another thing that happened in July, the new kit and sponsor. So we had partnered with Nike previously last year, but the new kit design, we figured, I'll let Leon, the kit connoisseur, talk about it. But in my perspective, it's one of the cleanest kits that we've had. and I really like the white and the gray. It works really well. But the sponsor Dockside is a great sponsor to have, and great restaurant. Love Dockside. We have our staff meetings there and all that. So
yeah, it was a big thing, and I recognize I'm talking a lot, but we signed a 4-year contract with Nike, and the deal is, well, basically they only do uniforms for 2 years. So, even if we said we're not going to have new uniforms, we wouldn't be able to get new uniforms. They just stopped making them. I think that's a lot the same with all of the big brands. But 2-year cycles, and that was part of our contract. We'd had our previous ones. We'd been commended for the quality of our kits before. With that, but this year, like you said, the white and gray seems to work really well.
I like that.
We the change for the girls as well, it allowed us with going the gray shorts. It allowed the boys and the girls to have the same uniforms, conscious that we didn't want girls wearing the white shorts, but the grays I think seemed to work. And we kept the orange as well because of that. But and Dockside have been great sponsor for us there. We had our Christmas party as well. We were able to do the World Cup thing. That was pre, and I think that was the proof of concept.
They also did the food for the banquet as well.
Yes.
So I think that allowed them to see how big of a club we were, because we were still trying to negotiate it then, and we also, that's where we revealed the jerseys as well at the banquet. So.
Right,
and good to see the teams taking advantage by having team dinners there as well.
Of course.
So nice to have them as sponsors.
Move on to August, and first one here I have is Turf ! In August, I believe it was later in August, right? It's like midway.
Towards the end.
But we were able to use the turf fully in August, and if anybody that was with the club for a couple of years saw that the All Saints bounce was very, very real on the grass. And now we have this amazing facility where there is no All Saints bounce, which I guess on the far grass field, but and with the new turf, the grass had some time to grow, and Yuri and the groundsman and his crew did a great job with the grass, and we were able to play some decent games on the grass as well because we stay off of it now that we have this beautiful new facility that we have.
Yeah, if ever there was a year or a season where we were going to have a turf, thank goodness we had it this year.
The amount of rainouts we've had this year.
Honestly, it's and again, the repercussions are there, but special nod to Stephen as well. Has always been very accommodating with the Milford stuff, Milford turfs as well, and it really got us through some tight spots in the past, but no, very pleased with how it's going. It's always evolving. Little known fact as well, we really did do a lot of work on the Malta House field as well, which does allow us now to go 11v11 grass going north to south or whatever it is, going instead of going across, going lengthways. So Yuri has been working on that. We're going to work on some other stuff, fields, locker rooms, in the far side. We work, the lights have been great. We've got the conduits for that as well. So, but no, it was ahead of schedule. Fair play to Field Turf. They got us on there, and I think it was the first week of practice we were able to get on.
Definitely. Also in August, we had the ECRL for the 2010 and 2011 boys, and it's also a partnership with AC Connecticut. But the 2010, 2011 boys are playing in this regional league where they are traveling to, say, Delaware, Maryland, right, upstate New York, with Coach Quinney and Coach Rui from AC Connecticut, and also a couple other coaches, right? Danny.
Yeah, I think for me, one other thing we should touch on just before that is during the summer we do the Hershey Cup as part of the USL pre-academy journey, and we've been and done that. In my opinion, it's a very small tournament. It's not one of those that we come back from. It's like, oh wow, we won the Hershey Cup, because we know it's not a heavy elite tournament, but it is a nice way for the kids who are still that younger age to get out there, experience being away from home, go to the theme park, play some soccer, and just enjoy themselves. It is a nice little spot there in Pennsylvania. Other than the drive, it's just very boring on the way home. But other than that, I think what we wanted to do is we would do these tournaments very sporadically throughout the year and be like, oh wow, our teams are doing great at Hershey, at the Juventus tournament down in Tampa, and we'd only practice once or twice a month. And we was kind of surprised how well they did. So we wanted to, evolve that and get more sessions together and play games. So basically what happens now from the U13 age group is they practice once a week. And then as the season progresses, that they play league games. Mm-hmm. And it is a rotating squad. It's the best players that we can find from Inter, the 3 locations, and what AC Connecticut, can find. It has led to a few difficult conversations for myself and Coach Anthony to explain to parents, hey, you might be the best player in your team now, but we're playing in another league higher than what we play in the regional league with inside EDP. So, and it is, that one is a strict, we are playing the win. So, some of these parents that are bringing their children to the game, they understand that you might not get on. And Aaron touched on it at the beginning, we do play games in Philadelphia, Delaware, South Jersey. So, it does show the level that we're playing in. And now, as we're talking about where we are right now, kind of January time, our high school guys are in there as well. And we have the what would it be, 15, 16, 17s all playing. So it's a good way for us as a club to see what we have for the USL Academy side. So we know these kids are playing together for a few seasons instead of Leon and Coach Anthony, how we're trying to figure out what the groups are. They can talk to myself, Aaron, Anthony, the staff they have at AC, and be like, no, we've got this player coming through. He's ready to make the step up. They're ready to make the step up. So, it was very fun. It did come with its logistical headaches, a lot of paperwork for myself to throw in there. But yeah, I think overall it shows an extra element. And one thing that I'm especially proud of, and again, credit to Leon and Marty, we're funding this. There's no additional fee for the ECRL for our players. Yes, the families have to pay to get to Delaware and New Jersey and whatnot, but the club is paying for an extra league for them. We were just taking care of that because our upbringing, academy soccer, is free. We don't want it to be a pay to play method for this elite level, and it helps us get our better players out on the field, and also gives them that opportunity when they do get to high school to do high school soccer, this ECRL USL Academy route, and still play high regional soccer for Inter Connecticut as well. Definitely. So it's 3 platforms, which I personally feel it is up there with any other platform that is offered in the US.
I second that. Yeah, I mean, the way that they've played this season and the fact that we can offer this now is something that is only going to expand this club, and one players are going to want to join this club, and correct, because we have this pathway, and it's another step in the right direction, I believe. But Steve, I can let you talk about your new hires for August that you have over in Shelton and Milford.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of coaches down this way that work in, the Milford United Town program and now the Shelton Town program as well. I want to say we have around almost 24 coaches working in some aspect, some two nights a week, some 7 nights a week, and they all do a great job. But from that, we've been able to bring some of those coaches across to our Inter program as well. Obviously, with the growth of Inter Union, obviously we had 16 teams starting this past fall, so that was too many teams for just me and Pedro to do. So we needed obviously some more coaches. Obviously, we've got
you try, mate. You try to do them all.
We do. I do. That's some would say that's my downfall, but but that's and obviously we have Coach Joel, but he's been around now, so I don't need to mention him. Although he does a great job.
That kid can't stand up without getting injured at the moment.
Yeah. So, but no, we had Coach Schindler and Coach Jay, who had the season before, who I brought on working with some of our Milford United teams, and they just I liked what they brought to the table. Number one, they're good guys. I don't care how good of a coach you are. If you don't fit into the environment as a coach, then you're not good. I don't. As you say, you don't always have to see eye to eye or agree with everything. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to be part of that, camaraderie and that group, and be able to work as a unit. And Coach Schindler and Jay are real open-minded coaches with a good opinion, but at the same point, they do it in the right way. So that, number one, I like their personalities, but on the field, they're just great with the kids. The way they interact with the players, they're great role models. They conduct great sessions. They're young coaches, so they're still learning themselves, as we all are, regardless of what age we are. But I just, their enthusiasm they bring to the game just stood out for me, whether that be in a practice, never going through the motions. They're always into it on a game day. They're very excitable coaches in the right way. And been really good additions working with our boys teams. Schindler's been doing our 2013 boys and one of our 2012 boys teams, and Jay has been doing our younger boys 2015s, and then kind of also filtering in some of the other age groups, along with Coach Pedro now as well with our high school boys. So yeah, real good additions, and I'm really pleased with them both. Been a good addition to the Inter-Connecticut family.
Yeah, it's great. I've worked with both Jay and Schindler and Brian, for that matter.
I forgot Brian as well. Bad am I?
You don't like Brian,
then? It's because Schindler and Jay came across at the same time. But Brian has been a great addition as well on the girls' side of the program. Right. He coaches our very talented 2015 girls and 2013 girls team. Was coaching at Amity. Story about Brian, actually. I hired him as an independent coach probably about 7-8 years ago when I was at Shelton. He was still at college. Young lad, good coach, but his focus then was as a player. I think I had him for it was kind of when he was at college. So I only had him for a short period of time. But, years later, coached against him when he was at Amity, when I was coaching one of the Milford United teams. I saw how he interacted with the girls' teams he had there at Amity, and we had a few Amity players over in already, and reached out to him and offered him the opportunity to come across, and it's been a great fit. The players love him, and so did the parents as well. So yeah, he's been another great addition. Yeah,
that's great. That's great, and we're adding good quality coaches and good quality people to the growth of this club, which is, it's only going to make it even that much better. Now we move on to September. In September, it's the beginning of our season. We started with the top 2 teams for each age group. We were invited by the EDP to join the Zone 1 Academy. Both, top teams that we have, the top 2 teams. The first one is a regional team. So we travel all around through in Connecticut, and also, occasionally outside of Connecticut. That's the eventual goal of it. And the SL team plays in the state level. But, the way the academy is structured, the Zone 1 Academy, we have back-to-back games with the RL and SL playing against the same club, per week. And for the fall, I thought that it worked out tremendously. It's a very, very different level than what we played in the EDP for several years previously. It's a bit of a challenge, and I know that, there's certain teams that didn't fare so well on paper, but, as coaches, we try to stay away from the wins and the losses, but how can we grow? How can we grow as individuals? How can we grow as a team? How can we grow as a club? And the Zone 1 Academy for the boys and the regional teams for the girls is a great way to, maybe, not get the wins and losses per se, or the wins, but focus on the growth of players, teams, and the club. And for me, I thought it was tremendous. It was
the big thing for me that I want to highlight here is we were selected for this. This isn't something you apply for. They wanted 3 teams from Southern Connecticut, 3 teams from Northern Connecticut, and you had to meet X amount of standards to do that. Enough players, enough teams, qualified coaches, facilities, etc. So we met that for our location, and there are other clubs wanting to be in this league and are knocking on our doors to even ask us to recommend them to join. So it does show you the level of platform that we have, and what we're trying to achieve. We sat down, we wanted like-minded clubs that were focused more long-term, a lot more of a club v club approach, instead of, well, we have a specific one really good team and all the other ones aren't at the same level. So, I thought it was a great one. Something that we was trying to do for a long time on the boys, but then it kind of went full circle. We were able to bring the girls in and, start to bring together the girls' regional program from that, because they would play there every week. And it was also a good opportunity for Jean to see the different locations, Steve to come down and see some of the girls we have from in Norwalk, the Litchfield group to come down and see everything. So, for me personally, something that I'm really proud of, being able to bring this to the club and get everyone involved and help have InterCT staying at the top blend of Connecticut soccer and helping, further our players. Like Aaron said, we could have just sat in the EDP championship with our top teams and just smashed teams 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That's not helping anybody. And we wanted to go out there, have these kids lose games, challenge them and see who wants to play at the top end of youth soccer in the US and Connecticut.
Yeah. And very much for the girls as well. They're on the same path. And
they had a really good season.
They had a very good season. And also they included a bunch of those Litchfield girls in there. Steve, were there some Shelton, some Union girls in there as well?
In which age group?
Yeah, we're 2013s, 2012.
Yeah, across all of 2012 girls, there was about 8 of our Union players, and 2013 girls, again about 8, and then Leon had a few of our 2015 girls as well, and then some of the 11 girls played up on the 010s group that Ashley had, although they didn't play. There wasn't then obviously not in the Zone 1 academy thing, but a lot of on the girls' side, probably top heavy on Union which is a little bit different to the boys' side because which is it's good. So
we have had a few jump over though. The 3 boys that have come over have been very good, and one of those boys in the Winter League last night, and he was like an absolute prime Alan Shearer. Anything inside the box, he just bagged. Like all the kids were like, "Who's this guy?" And he just went bang, 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 bang. He was like,
that?
Get him in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think actually, it's good. Actually, like it's the Norwalk side of the program. The boys program is so talented over there, especially, and it was good because a lot of you use some of our independent coaches to help out with the open play that you did through December, like Julian, and they all said, Steve, the level of players here on the boys and girls, but especially the boys because it's been established longer, said it was unbelievable, and I think that's good for especially our Union players down here on the boys' side to aspire to, because some of the talented players you've got down there is brilliant. I remember your old team that used to coach Aaron. I used to love watching them. I think they're. Yeah, you had them 2 seasons ago. Yeah, so
well, it's a testament to how much the club has grown and from how far we've came as well, and we are still the same club. Maybe different locations, but we can do this together. We can expand these programs and create the best players that we possibly can, and also some of the best people. So that's the biggest thing, and we're in it together, Steve.
Yep.
Another thing in September was the VO2s. So the VO is that little green thing attached to the end of a pole that we put at half, and it's an automatic robot, I guess I don't know the technology, but I'm not a technology savvy person, but it records the whole game, it edits it, and it's something that as a coach I use to evaluate, the games, evaluate players, but also my coaching style and how it kind of works with my teams and players. And the VO1s were a very, very good tool, and the VO2s have proven to be incredible. Yeah. The things that you can do with the VO2s are, it's priceless.
Yeah, I think for me on this topic, the biggest thing, if you are still listening to us at this stage of the podcast, is make sure that you reach out to your coach to get the link to the VO stuff. There is no point us carrying them all around Connecticut, setting them up if your sons, daughters are not benefiting from the information that we can share with them. For me, I wish I had it when I was this age. You know, we have had this discussion before. You know, why is it not just our high school players who get it? But we want to develop everybody. And, you know, if you are a U9 player, U10, most of the kids are just interested in their goals back or their saves. But if you can really, you know, focus in on what did the coach work on this week? Were we working on receiving on the back foot? How many times did you do that during that period? Then that's really going to help you. So, you know, yes, we use the VO to promote social media, goal of the month, blah, 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 phases of play, structure. But, you know, for the individuals here, really, really start looking at that. Analyze your game. Reach out to your coaches. Your coach would rather sit down and go over VO footage with you than just say, oh, how am I doing at the end of the practice? Because it's very kind of, as a coach on the spot, you can't really think of the right things every time. But if you sat down and say, coach, can you look at my VO footage and give me one or two things? It's one, going to give the coach a way to see your game, but two, improve yourself as an individual. So really useful. And then, like Aaron said, the new information where you can see the statistics over the season, how much percent of possession you have, which then brings up that famous debate, right, Steve? Possession doesn't always lead to.
Yes. Well, you know my views on that. So, but although statistics, as Mr. Quinn said back there, would say otherwise. So, so who knows? But I would say also the new VO is much easier to connect to as well.
Correct.
Definitely.
Yeah, the connection issue.
Yeah, because I think the old ones, I must have not recorded some games because I couldn't deal with the connection on it. But now much easier.
No, that's just because it was on your VO that you swearing under your breath.
That might have been it as well.
No, that one didn't record. Sorry, parents.
It's a good job he wasn't recording that game down in Wallingford, Leon, at the tournament.
Oh, good.
That would have been a laugh.
But no, as a club, we signed a new 3-year deal with VO. I think we have the most amount of cameras in the state of 15.
That's what you said.
17. Yeah, we got 15 VO2s and 2 old ones. So no excuse. Lots of footage to be used and a big expense from the club.
Yeah, I actually VO'd one of my last parents' game in December before Christmas, so I'll get that out there. The boys and girls,
goals of the month.
Yeah. I've just got to delete my bad bits though, so it looks.
And a quick edit. No, that we have in November and December. We'll touch on that as well. Skipping over to October now, we have the Poughkeepsie tournament. We go every year, and
what
it's
tournament?
Poughkeepsie.
That very wet one we went to.
Yeah. And it turned out that this year there was a little too much rain for us to play in the afternoon on Saturday, and for the morning girls games right on Sunday.
Yeah, whole Sunday was wiped out. Yeah. I think that just goes back to what we said at the beginning, right? The amount of rain we saw this fall was just
unbelievable.
Just insane.
Just on that, I think, Leon, we managed to put together a last-minute jamboree, right, at like 10 p.m. on the Saturday night for the Sunday morning.
A great thing. And fair play to yourself and Gene for getting that done. It was, having turned up there that day, it was a hub of activity, and I was really proud of, the club and the coaches and the facility, and everyone was playing. And what turned out to be a disappointment ended up, of course, they want to play in a tournament, but at least they got their games. So, and with the promise that they had another tournament later on as well. So
exactly,
correct. Yeah, we went to Harvest Fest.
Harvest Fest, that's in November.
Yeah, we did that one, and then some of our other teams were at the FSA tournament. But adapt, improvise, overcome. It was tricky to get our tournaments in, but we did it. We didn't want to be sat here in 2024 thinking we had to get 2 tournaments in between now and June. So thank you to the parents for being flexible, understand that the tournaments are not controlled by myself or the other coaches. And should also
mention Joel. Joel had say he had more nights in a hotel than he coached games that week.
He did. Yeah, because he was with me the night before, and then you did the second night, right?
And he coached one game, and it got rained out on the Saturday after.
I took him out for dinner that night, so he wasn't too hard done by.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think moving on leads us to a new hire, right?
Yes.
She's coming very helpful. I think she is across the way, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Hannah Lasky works at Sports Performance University, and we decided that we wanted to use her talents and her skills for some of the things that we needed done at Inter. And the fact that she works in our office already turned out to be, invaluable. And she's done a lot so far regarding the website, regarding registrations, regarding emails, and some of the headaches that she's taken care of are have helped immensely.
Yeah.
The next one, I don't know if I should say this. No,
Well, this week you got your
This is-
promotion,
yeah,
right?
cool.
Yeah.
me and Quinn got
Pick yourself
promoted.
up. Yeah.
Now, this was one that I was again proud of. I thought they both deserved the recognition for the hard work that they've been here. Quinny's been here a very long time. Aaron came in at a difficult time to the club and established himself as a very good coach and a valued member of the team. And with my lifestyle and where the club's going, it is a massive benefit for me to have extra sets of hands. The boys are starting to realize there is a lot of admin to the side.
Definitely a lot of work.
Managing the winter leagues and things like that, me and Leon would just do in the background. And I think it is something that I'm trying to improve on. I am a little bit of a do-it-yourself type of guy, and it doesn't always help. And that was one of the pet peeves that I've had with people who were higher up than me on certain things when I was coming through the coaching ranks. I didn't want to be that same person holding others back. So, we have Anthony stepped into the assistant DOC, and he's doing a great job in there. I think you can see that by the style of play that some of these teams show. I was at the Winter League with him last night, and the level of play was extremely high. And then, Aaron, I'm not just saying it because he's next to me. I thoroughly enjoy working with him. Technically, now with Aaron's promotion, there is parts of it where he's my boss because I fall into your age groups that he manages as well. And he's not afraid to come over and tell me, hey, Tom, we've got to do this. We've got to do this. We've got to get more information out. Could you play this way? And once we finish this podcast, we actually have a boys DOC program meeting to kind of see where we can improve and things like that. So I first of all love these two people as friends and people, and really happy for them and think they're doing a good job, and look forward to continuing to work with them both.
Appreciate that, Tom. Yeah, I'm not a huge guy for the spotlight, but it's been great so far. Definitely learning a lot from Mr. Robinson and Mr. Othen. But just very happy to be recognized. Very happy to be
Well deserved, fellas.
I appreciate that. We move on to November now. The Harvest Fest was in replace of the Poughkeepsie tournament for the teams that didn't get to play in their games. And it turned out fairly well. I mean, we had 10 teams there, something like that. Roughly.
Maybe more. I think
I think it was more than that if you're including the
I had
union.
Six
at Union.
Gene was
We
there.
had
And the girls,
whole time,
you were,
yeah.
definitely more than 10.
Yeah, no, for me, this circles back to the point we just spoke about. I wasn't in the country, and I don't think I would have gone on vacation if I didn't have Aaron there to manage it as the representation for the boys' side. So, those little promotions and things, Coach Anthony himself, he was up in Massachusetts with the USL side of things. So, having those two boys really helped me in that point. And I think overall it had some really good feedback, from the coaches that were there. It's something that we're considering again for next year to try and spread ourselves out over different locations and different tournaments. So, overall successful. Hopefully revisit it when we plan our tournaments for next season. And then, see what we think is the best option, because that's the funny thing with the fall. We can't go to just one tournament. We probably have to spread ourselves across a few.
Yeah, now that we're expanding as well.
Yeah,
so.
too many teams.
Later in November, I wanted to do something for the parents because they drive their kids to training sessions, to games, to tournaments, and the parents never get to have any fun. So we thought that it would be a great idea to include some parent soccer over in Norwalk first. And then in December, Stephen decided to do a Union branch parent soccer. But in the Norwalk branch, we did three separate weeks of it, and we're looking to do more this winter as well, but the turnout was great. Everybody seemed to really like it. The standard was very good. We have some good players as parents, and the standard was good. It was a lot of fun, and we had a great turnout. And now we had the ability to use our new facility with the lights and the new box goals, and looking like a real club now. It's great. But into the Parent Soccer and Union. That was more in December, but how was that, Steve?
3 weeks. We had the space at the Boys and Girls Club in not as nice as the new turf field at All Saints, but it was it's like perfect for an adult game of or a parents' game of soccer. We did
have to run so far at the Boys and Girls Club.
And we used
as many soccer balls as we did.
But no, we did 3 Mondays in a row, and made it real good fun. We had like I said, we had enough to make 2 teams. There's a big scoreboard there with the buzzers, so we had the kids of the parents running the scoreboard, and real good turnout. Couple of cold ones afterwards as well, which was good for camaraderie with some of the parents to speak to them socially. But no, it was and like I said, I'll get some of the footage up that I videoed as it's just good fun, good for some of the parents that don't know each other to get out there and play. I will do a shout out here. I didn't get a huge turnout for some of the mums. Okay, so that's the goal, to try and get some of the mums to play in the new season when we run it, because I know we have a lot of parents in our program that are mums and they used to play and they can play. So hopefully they get out there and play as well, and it's not just the dads. So
I think to me, this is something that I remember doing as a kid. I remember watching my dad play like in adult games, and it was something that we wanted to do when we turned into Connecticut, have more of that community feel. We have a lot of kids from different locations, different towns, and to have them come together, watch the parents play, the parents getting to know. I'm a big fan of, if you have a sideline where all the parents like each other and get along, it's only going to benefit the kids on the field. If it's totally opposite and the parents don't get along, they don't know each other, they stay in their own little cliques, it's only going to have a negative impact. So coming together to do this, the only negative I have is we had a really good referee the first week, and he never showed up again the rest of it. That was my only negative. Kalina, we had Kalina come out of retirement and he never came back.
Mr. Othen.
Well, I got accused of cheating because it's not offside.
I don't know.
I never scored as many goals as me.
Guys, I have to apologise my end. I know you're getting near the end, but I've got a little boy waking up in his crib right now who I've got to go and attend to. So I'm going to have to
cut the jump out, man. We're nearly done.
Thank you for joining. Appreciate the input, and good luck to you and the Shelton branch. We'll work closely with you in the new year.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me on, and a happy new year to everyone.
Happy New Year, brother.
Thank you.
I think we can swing to the last 2 points, given both to Leon, right? USL.
Yep. It started in January with the tryouts and training. The season went right through from Manhattan, and we talked about the USL in March. We went all the way through to July. The benefit of our academy is you can go and play high school soccer as well. So you take the fall off, but then it is a little bit bizarre that come December you're playing in this national championship. I think 16 teams this year. It'd grown. We were our representative from the Northeast for the 3rd year in a row. We beat off these big clubs, like we said, Boston Bolts, Hartford Athletic, Western Mass Pioneers, and we were represented. We went in really as the underdog, really, really were. And the format this year lended itself almost to the underdog because it was an elimination round as opposed to 2 groups of 4. This year was 16 elimination. It was like it did add to it, but just in there's clubs there, like I said, Hartford Athletic, for example, USL championship teams who have pro academies, teams that train 4 times a week, and they've played all the way through. The kids sacrifice high school and go through. But we went in as real underdogs. We played a team from Utah, went 1-0 down after 4 minutes. We thought, here we go. But no, the boys, a lot of which we were new players because players that had helped us qualify went off to D1, and you're not allowed to play if you're in D1 or D2 if you're still in season. So we were a bit of a scratch team that we put together. But yeah, long story short, we won that one, played New Mexico. Next round, we won that one 1-0, a resolute performance. So then all of a sudden we're in the semifinals playing against Orange County, who had a U17 player, US national team player that was playing in Indonesia just like 3 weeks prior.
Wow.
For the US, and recently sold one of their players for $700,000.
Wow.
So that's how they don't have a youth team. That's how they fund their program, by selling players off to MLS clubs. And I think it was Real Salt Lake he went to. But we fell short in the semifinal, but played in the third place playoff and won on penalties. So
wow,
third in the league. Great experience. Again, camaraderie was there, and it just shows you why we do it. It's those memories, right?
Yeah,
for those kids.
Yeah,
so.
I think for me, Leon, one thing to touch on is the team of the tournament that was announced with Trev, kid who's been here as long as I've been here. Started off as second team player. You know, when we get into these higher levels of soccer, Trev for me has always been a left or right winger. And then now at the USL level, different needs, different things to jump in, different positions. And he managed to get into the team of the tournament playing left back. And, for us, as selfishly looking at it as into Connecticut / Everton America, where Trevor started with us, it's great to see one of our players go from low-level second-team player, gradually moving his way up to becoming a key high school player, to now playing throughout college, to playing in the USL Academy and being identified as the best left back there, which is, for a coach who's worked with him and at his younger end of his development, and obviously Leon at his older end of his development, is a great testament to those coaches that have worked with him in between. I know he worked a lot with Paul Hennessy as well when he was with us. So shout out to Paul for his work with Trevor. And yeah, great kid, great family, very supportive of the club, and just want to say how proud we are of Trev for what he's achieved, and hope the best, and maybe we can sell him for $1 million.
Yeah, but no, it just shows you, and we said it podcast after podcast. We're not coaching the kids now. Well, there we were. Yeah, we're coaching the kids for the now, but he's playing at the U20 age group. It just shows you, right? We're helping, and the times that you coached him, Tom, is for his development, so we can go off to the USL and so we can play. And the reason he got it is because he marked the US national team player out the game. Yeah. Apart from the 53rd minute when he was very tired and he let him through, but thank God the goalkeeper saved it. But yes, no, well done to Trev on that one.
Yeah, but, congratulations to the USL Academy.
And it all starts again this Sunday for the next round.
Yeah,
wow.
January.
No break.
And we'll finish off on a great bit of news that hasn't been announced yet.
Yes.
Shall we?
Coach Gene's been sat here for the last hour and a half.
Coach Gene's been doing some work in the office. Now he's invited to come and join.
It's going to have to be an 8-part series.
No, it really.
We said we wouldn't last it. It wouldn't last that long.
So for the girls program, so in the fall of 2024, we will be on a new venture into the DPL for our U13 to U19 girls program.
Love it.
It's really awesome. Just great league, great competition, comes with a lot of different things, a lot of different opportunities. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that you've been talking about for a little time.
We worked hard at it. Yeah. We worked really hard at it. So I think it's, like I said, it's the next step for the girls program, which is fantastic.
Great. And we get to use our branches as well in this.
We do.
So it's
another for everyone.
Yeah. And it just shows you, right? When we talked about it, we had these regional things back in January.
Yep.
September, the zone 1, we started utilizing it, and Stephen talked about in March even, we kind of experimented with the branches.
No, I think the success of the regional team certainly springboarded this. And I think we saw how competitive they were and at higher levels. And I think this is the next logical step for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, a lot has to go to the coaches, but I remember the first time I met Gene for a staff meeting in Dockside, and we were trying to explain to him the platform of this Zone 1 Academy, and he's like, we're doing this now? And I was like, yeah, it's like next week we're starting it. And to go from that, where the groups wasn't formed, we didn't have set coaches, we didn't have a set practice schedule, to then 3 months, 4 months later to be announcing this, I do think we've got the right guy in charge for this, who's going to help us grow the girls program. They're going to get the same love that the boys program has, and ultimately it's going to help Inter Connecticut become bigger, better overall. And I'm really happy for that, and looking forward to seeing where this journey goes for the girls. And hopefully Gene can steer us that way. He's got the background and the knowledge. Definitely. And something that hopefully I don't have to manage, and Gene can do so.
You do not. No, I will manage that for you.
It's and when we took over 2019,
that was one of Marty's goals.
It was one of the goals. We talked about the family environment, but we said we really want to get the girls program to where the boys are right now. Little did we know that the boys would be going strength to strength even further, so the girls have had to catch up even more. But this is now a platform where we can really get on an even keel and be a club for boys and girls on an even level.
Yeah, definitely destination now. So it's good. It's really good.
All right, I'll wrap it up.
So yeah, we've this is the 2023 year in review. Resolution for 2024. Shorter podcasts. Sorry.
There was a lot. There was a lot in there.
There was a lot in there.
More editing. I think it might have to split into fours.
So sorry for the hour and a half podcast, but we had a lot going on in 2023, and the club expanded so much. We grew and partnered with so many different clubs and tournaments and new leagues. We've come so far, and we're not going to stop now.
Always evolving.
Evolving. And
don't stand still.
Definitely not. So thank you, parents, players, families, for a great 2023. And we look forward to an even better 2024. Thanks you again for listening.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Interview Podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us on Facebook and Instagram, and check out our website, www.interctfc.com.